Hello, welcome to today's video. I am so excited to share this one with you because if you've ever thought to yourself, I don't have any writing experience, I could never really be a content writer, or I couldn't get paid very much. I want to really shift that for you and share why that is so untrue. And if you're wondering how I know this, if we haven't met yet, my name is Jessica Johnson, and I mentor women in how to become freelance writers and build profitable freelance businesses, teaching them both the writing and content strategy side, as well as the business building side. And I began doing this after building my own content agency and leading content teams and mentoring writers inside corporate America for international companies. So I'm going to bring all that to the table to share with you this one kind of undiscovered hack for becoming a profitable content writer. All right. So think about this. While you may not have a ton of experience in writing, is there an industry that you have spent the majority of your career in? Maybe you have been a nurse or a doctor forever. Maybe you've been in accounting. Maybe you've been in education. Maybe you have been in mechanics. I don't know, right? Like any industry, whatever you've done your career in up until this point could make you an excellent, super in-demand writer in that field. Think about it. Let's take the nursing or doctor example. While you may not be a trained writer, there are so many hospitals and healthcare companies who have content to write and to share in this healthcare field that the average writer does not know as well as you do, right? So you can go and you can take your years of expertise in nursing and you can help articulate this content for them in a way that's easy for the average person to understand. And you can know that because you have worked with patients for years and years. And so you know what's going to land and what's not, but you also have that medical expertise that's really going to make sure that you can apply the technical writing as well as just the softer, more personable approach. Does that make sense? So for example, otherwise, these companies might be working with writers who aren't trained in healthcare, and so they don't fully understand what these companies are trying to convey, right? So I want you to start thinking about yourself as an expert and an in-demand person for whatever your industry has been thus far. Maybe you've been in tech. So that was a big part of my story where I worked for a lot of tech brands. And so when I started doing freelance writing, it was very simple for me to naturally go and get work from tech brands because I'd already differentiated myself in that field. I already had expertise and an understanding of technology in a way that the average person doesn't, right? So I could understand words and terminology like attribution, analytics. I could understand like tech marketing platforms and the products that they talked about and applications and apps and mobile marketing and all that stuff, right? And so all of a sudden, these tech companies that may have otherwise not been able to find a writer that understood what they were trying to talk about, or that may have had a hard time like articulating that to someone that wasn't in their industry, could work with me and could say, wow, you really get the technology, so you can be our expert to go and write it for our website. All right. I even think about like the mechanics example, or let's say you're into astronomy or something else like that. I know nothing about those things. So I am a good writer. I can go and research and I can learn those things, but I'm not going to be probably a brand's first choice when it comes to writing. Honestly, you would probably win because you're the expert in that field. So when you start to think about that and your expertise, and you start to pair that with some foundational understanding of writing and content strategy, which I can teach you in my programs if you're so inclined, I'll share more about that below. But then you really start to stand out right away. You move to the front of the pack. And so even if you aren't the one leading with 5 to 10 years of writing experience, you are leading with expertise and in that particular industry and field. And so all of a sudden, brands are going to be more interested in talking to you than they would a writer that maybe has 10 years of experience, but it's completely irrelevant to their particular brand or industry. Right? You start to see that? I hope that makes you excited because I hear from so many people who are so intimidated by the writing side without realizing they are sitting on a superpower, on a gold mine when it comes to getting into a particular niche and being in demand and highly paid, right? Because it's almost like a surgeon, right? A heart, surgeon is one of the highest paid doctors, right? Because they're so specialized and they're such an expert in their craft. Whereas a generalist may be well versed in a lot of things, but they're not going to make as much because they're not as specialized. So it doesn't always like relate perfectly in writing. You can make a lot no matter what you're doing, but I want you to start thinking about coming into your particular niche or area of expertise or industry of expertise and being someone who can immediately command higher rates because you know it so well, because you're already an expert in healthcare, because you're already a nurse, because you've renovated 20 homes and you can speak to home renovation, because you know artificial intelligence or whatever it may be, you can be the in-demand person and you can command higher rates, not because you come in with tons of experience in writing, but because you come in with tons of experience in this other specialized niche. Okay, so don't let that stop you. If you're ready for a change in your life, you can learn the writing. The writing is a skill anyone can learn. I have taught people from all walks of life, from all over the world, even who came from different languages as their first language, who can learn to write and who can learn to edit and who can build a very successful career. So that is not the challenge. The challenge is really your mindset, realizing that you have, even if it's been in a whole different industry, you have expertise in something that can make you a profitable freelance writer. All right. And you have something that can be your jump off point to get those first clients and to get fully booked. And maybe one day you eventually shift out of that industry if it's not your passion. But just right now, know that you can use it as what makes you special, as what gets brands to take notice, as what complements with the writing skill that you can learn to then just jump off from that and build this amazing content business as your own boss with the freedom to work from anywhere, to create your own schedule. And so I just hope that's encouraging for you. I don't want anyone to miss this chance because they think they've spent 20 years in another field or industry, when really the fact that they've been a teacher or a healthcare worker or an artist or a musician or any other number of things, a bookkeeper, anything, that actually makes them an expert in something they may not even realize. And it can be the perfect thing to pair with writing, to stand out in that field and then build business from there that they love. All right. Let me know if this is helpful to you. And again, if you're interested in learning more about this, I will share a free copywriter starter kit below. So check out the link below, and I would just love to hear what industry you've been in, if this has ever been a doubt or fear of yours, and if this, I hope, helps.